Hey guys, so this is going to be part 2 of the SPG review, and this is on density. So please remember that you can define a substance, an object, by its density. So first, what is the density of water? Now, please focus that it's 1.00 grams divided by milliliters. I don't want you guys to focus on grams divided by centimeters cubed. I was just overthinking things and I wrote it, so please focus on that 1.00 grams divided by milliliters. So in number 6, it's asking you to determine which of the following will float in water. So I tried to draw a beaker, and obviously I'm a chemistry teacher, not an art teacher, so no judgment out of any of you. So the first object, it doesn't matter about the milliliters, the grams, the milliliters, the grams that you see here. It is defined on if it can, what will float, on which one's on top, which one's on bottom, based on its density. And think about this, like think about the real world experience that when you're building a pyramid of people, you want the lightest people on top and then the not so light people towards the bottom. And the reason for that is gotta hold them up in gravity. So object A has a 1.6 grams divided by milliliters. Then object B has a 0.97 grams divided by milliliters. And remember, this is all supposed to be in water. So remember that water has a 1.0 grams divided by milliliters. So technically, 0.97 will be on top of 1, and 1.6 will be beneath it. So with number C, you have a 3.5 grams divided by milliliters, which is definitely so far our heaviest. So far he's on the bottom. Then with D, you have a 1.1 grams divided by milliliters, and that's going to be slightly heavier than 1.0 grams divided by milliliters of the water. So when you look at my beautiful, awesome drawing here, gosh, that should have been like framed. This is the water line that I made. So that means that B with a 0.97 will be on top of the water. Then you have water at 1.0. Then substance D is a 1.1. Substance A was a 1.6. And substance C was a 3.5. So it's going to go B, water, D, A, C in the order because you want your heaviest towards the bottom. So to answer number 6, what will float is B. All right, so let's talk about some density. In class, you were asked to know and understand that D equals M over V. So at this point, D M over V. Please remember that M, baby M in this case, is for mass, and V is for volume. I know, such a teacher moment at home and have a board. So, in a lot of the classes, I know for a fact from my classes, we talked about the triangle. The fact that it goes DMV. Just like all of you want to start driving soon. So a great way to think about this is remember DMV. DMV. And how this works is this. You have to have 2 of the 3 to be able to solve for the unknown. We'll just leave that down there. So, if I want to solve for D, I simply put my hand over D, and I have M over V. Now, if I wanted to solve for a volume, and I had density and my mass in the same units, then I can put my hand over V, and I'm going to have m over d. Now, if I want to find my mass, and I have my density and a volume, and they're, of course, in the same units, you don't have to change them like liters to milliliters, then d times v equals mass. So, in the first problem, it says, given the mass of a 42.3 grams and a volume of 25.4 milliliters. So it wants to calculate the density. It tells you your unknown. It tells you what they want you to find. So D equals mv, and I already set it up in a triangle. D is my unknown. Mass is 42.3 grams. Again, grams is a unit of mass. V equals 25.4 milliliters. Again, milliliters, liters. Both of them are for volume. So, wrote it out one more time so we didn't miss it. D equals m over v. So density equals 42.3 divided by 25.4, which gives you, I brought it down, 1.67 grams divided by milliliters. All right, so number 8. Given the volume of 25 milliliters, now again, that's a fact. They told you my volume of 25 milliliters. Now, and has a density of 4 grams divided by milliliters. So now they want you to calculate the mass. So in this, you're going to multiply them. Because when I cover up my m, I have d times v. Now, it's really important to remember that you've got to make sure your units matchy-matchy, because you can't just all of a sudden times a milliliter times a liter and just like have that. So my density is 4 grams divided by milliliters, and my volume is 25 milliliters. So both my density and my volume have milliliters, so I'm good to go. So the formula again is m equals d times v. Mass equals 4 grams divided by milliliters times 25. Now remember that milliliters and grams for your density is a fraction unit, meaning that milliliters is going to be on the bottom. So because I have a whole milliliter here and I have a milliliter on the bottom, I can cross them off. I don't need them anymore. Now, 4 times 25 is 100, and I end up just with 100 grams. All right, so this tricks a lot of you up, the word displacement. So, water. So my water line is right here. And what displacement means is how much rises. So if I added metal or something, a substance to this, where it made the line rise to here, this, my awesome drawing, I know, so amazing. That difference between your starter, so your initial, and your final, so you want to take your final minus your initial, and it will give you your displacement of your substance. And the reason you want that, this is for objects that are awkward, where you can't get an exact volume, and so the closest thing you're going to get is going to be the displacement. So remember that when you have displacement, you're using typically milliliters. And we talked about this last semester, like jewelry. Like if I had this gem and I was mining and I wanted to figure out what this gem was, and I needed to figure out the density of it so I can identify it. And when you mine for gold and when you mine for gems and things, they're not perfect. They're not a sphere. They're kind of jagged and they're kind of weird looking. So when you drop them into the water, you'll have your displacement, displace, great words to remember for this SPG, which will give you your volume. So number 9, the level of water in the graduated cylinder starts, so that's your initial, is 52.7 milliliters. After a solid object with a mass of 100 grams is added, the level of the water rises to 87.4. That's your final. What is the density of the solid object? So again, imagine that you're a gold miner, you found a nugget, you want to see if it's fool's gold or the real deal, true gold, and you drop him into a graduated cylinder. And yes, I know I'm using a glass from home. That's because I did not bring one home, and no, I was not going to. So I started with 52.7 and I ended with 87.4. So when you take your final minus initial, again, final minus initial, 87.4 minus 52.7, it gives me a difference, a displacement of 34.7. So density is my unknown, mass is 100, and volume is 34.7 milliliters. You'll discover that I have not finished this problem. So what happens is this: when you take D equals M over V, my mass is 100, my volume was 34.7 milliliters. So when you put that in your calculator and you take 100 divided by 34.7, you get 2.88 grams divided by milliliter. So hopefully you got that answer. All right. Last part. Here we go. And again, please remind message me, my students. If you don't have a remind message, come and find me and I will tutor you. Whatever you guys need, just let me know. Advocating, communicate for yourself. Let me know. There is no wrong questions. It's just wrong not to ask the questions. All right. So, a density column in a container that has a different samples of liquids. The liquids do not mix together. So, list the substance below in the order in which you would appear in a density column. Now, we actually did a density column where we took random household substances and we combined them together and we made the different layers. So, try to keep that in mind as well. So substance 1, dichlorobenzene, which has a 1.3 grams divided by milliliters. Then the second substance is gasoline, and he has a 0.70 grams divided by milliliters. And then I have water, which is a 1.00 grams divided by milliliters. So what I would expect when I put them in the beaker is that the gasoline, who is lighter, just like our cheerleading pyramid. Remember, lighter. Even though that isn't a weight, it's density. But in the concept of trying to remember an easy way, remember you want the smaller number of density on top. You have a 0.7 grams divided by milliliters. Then water, which was your third substance, was a 1.0 grams divided by milliliters. Then dichlorobenzene, which would sink to the bottom is a 1.30 grams divided by milliliters. So please let me know if you guys have any questions or concerns. I hope you guys are studying, and again, not waiting till the last day to work on completing this. Hope you guys are having a great night.